The Armenian Genocide, a historical and contemporary examination. In 1915, a massive genocide took place in the Ottoman Empire. Over 1 million Armenians lost their lives. But why is this event still a subject of controversy today? What led to this mass killing, and how did the world respond? Today, we will take an in-depth look at the Armenian Genocide through the research of historian Raymond Kévorkian. We will explore its historical background, the step-by-step process of the genocide, and its lasting impact on global history. By the late 19th century, the Ottoman Empire was in decline. Ethnic and religious minorities, including the Armenians, sought reforms and greater rights. However, these demands were seen as threats to the empire's stability. Between 1894 and 1896, an estimated 300,000 Armenians were massacred under Sultan Abdulhamid II. This was a precursor to the far greater tragedy that would unfold 2 decades later. The Ottoman government feared that Christian minorities, particularly the Armenians, might align with foreign powers such as Russia, which had long-standing conflicts with the empire. As the empire entered the 20th century, the rise of the Committee of Union and Progress, CUP, also known as the Young Turks, intensified Turkish nationalism. Initially promising reforms, the Young Turks soon adopted a policy of Turkification, pushing for a homogeneous Muslim Turkish identity and viewing non-Turkish minorities with suspicion. On April 24, 1915, the Ottoman government ordered the arrest and execution of Armenian intellectuals, political leaders, and cultural figures. Over 250 prominent Armenians were detained in Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, and later executed. This marked the beginning of the Armenian Genocide, now commemorated as Genocide Remembrance Day. Mass killings followed. Armenian men were rounded up and executed in mass shootings, while women, children, and the elderly were forcibly deported. Under the guise of relocation, they were marched to the Syrian desert without food or water. But in reality, this was a death march. Along the way, Ottoman military forces, police, and Kurdish militias carried out brutal massacres. Women were raped, children were abducted, and entire families were slaughtered. Survivors of the marches were placed in concentration camps, where thousands more perished due to starvation and disease. The total number of deaths is estimated to be between 1 million and 1.5 million. The genocide was meticulously organized. Orders to exterminate Armenians were sent through official Ottoman channels, and many of these documents were later used as evidence in international investigations. American and German diplomats stationed in the Ottoman Empire reported on the atrocities, but their warnings were largely ignored by the global community. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed, and in 1923, the Republic of Turkey was founded. However, instead of acknowledging the genocide, the new government actively suppressed the history of these events. Key perpetrators of the genocide, such as Talat Pasha, fled to Europe, where some were later assassinated by Armenian Avengers in Operation Nemesis. The newly formed Turkish government adopted a policy of denial, claiming that the deaths were the result of war and civil unrest. To this day, Turkey does not officially recognize the Armenian Genocide, instead arguing that Armenians and Turks both suffered casualties during World War I. Meanwhile, the Armenian diaspora spread across the world has continued to fight for historical recognition and justice. Many nations, including the United States, France, and Germany, have officially recognized the genocide. In 2019, the U.S. Congress passed a resolution acknowledging the genocide, a significant step toward historical justice. Denial of genocide is not just a matter of historical debate. It has real consequences. When crimes against humanity go unpunished, they set a dangerous precedent for future atrocities. Historians argue that Adolf Hitler, while planning the Holocaust, was emboldened by the world's failure to act on the Armenian Genocide. He famously remarked, "Who, after all, speaks today of the annihilation of the Armenians?" By refusing to acknowledge past crimes, governments can manipulate national identity, distort history, and silence victims. This is why continued advocacy for recognition is crucial, not only for Armenians, but for all people who value justice and historical truth. The Armenian Genocide is considered one of the first systematic genocides of the 20th century. Understanding this history is crucial because forgotten history has a way of repeating itself. Recognizing past atrocities is the first step in preventing future crimes against humanity. If you found this documentary informative, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into history's darkest chapters. Let us remember so we do not repeat.